Look at you. You're an overachiever.
I've done 4.
Wait, what?
I've done 2 full-size ones, and then I did 2 small ones. The smaller ones are not blocked yet, and one was an attempt. I forgot to bring it over. It's over there. And then the fourth one I think is going to work, but I haven't blocked it. So
okay, so let's back up. Hi, I'm Jana with Pearl Together, and this is
yeah.
Anne. This is Anne from I Thought I Knew How, and we're having this podcast about finishing up our Hap Cowl by Ella Gordon. Links are down below in the video description. And I did good to knit 1 this month, but in fairness, there's been drama.
You've had a really crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, kidding season. There's lots of baby goats. So if you want to see baby goats jumping, boing, 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 that's always fun. Go over to @Celtic Prairie Farm because that's my Instagram for the farm. And that's fun to see baby goats because they're darling.
Baby goats. How can you not watch the baby goats?
You know what? If you're grumpy, that will improve your mood. Baby goats make it better.
That's where I need to be. I need to go over to your Celtic Prairie farm Instagram and just look at some baby goats for a while.
Boing, boing.
And stop being grumpy.
I know. But and then my mom has moved out to the farm. We moved her out into the little building or little house cottage. It's the cottage that we remodeled back in the day.
Is she actually living there now, or are you still doing?
No. She's here. I mean, there's boxes and everything's kind of chaotic, but she's actually sleeping here. Dogs here. The food in the refrigerator, and you know what I mean. But she's unpacking. But back in the day, they had the hired man. It was the bunkhouse, and so now it's the cottage, and it's like it's small. It's like 500 square feet, maybe. So it's like a studio apartment. But then she's like, well, I got to have room for my yarn and my spinning and weaving and the loom. And so
after my own heart. So
that's why she has, if I showed on my Pearl Together Instagram, when the building arrived with the little porch, that's what we had to buy a shed. She had to buy a building for her craft.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I want a she shed just for all my stuff. I mean, I guess it's not the room I'm in is a she shed. It's just in my house.
Well,
I don't need it to be outside. I have a room, so I should not complain or.
Yeah, no,
I'm good. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. And you probably have more than 500 square feet. So.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to brag or anything, but.
It's been good though, because, she's just across the driveway. She can pop over for breakfast or coffee or whatever. And she can come for dinner if she wants or not. Depends on if we're having anything she likes. I mean, she has a full kitchen. She can do her own thing, and she's like independent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's good.
Yeah. That's how my husband's grandmother, that she had like a little house on the same property as one of his aunts, and they, sometimes they did stuff together and sometimes she cooked for herself, and
it's fine.
She's close enough to be checked on and be part of the family. And
right. Yeah. And that's just it is, I think we all realized, especially when COVID started, that, you don't have to live alone. Right. I mean, she can be independent, but not alone.
Right.
Because it's a bummer to always be by yourself. And,
for sure.
She's doing just fine, but she's getting to the age where, it's kind of nice for me to go to doctor's appointments with her and that kind of thing. I mean, she can drive and do her own thing, and she goes to like book club and all that, Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. But moving during the babies and the kidding, I mean, it's just been a lot. So I only got 1 cowl done, but you did like a lot. Because
I found this pattern to be perfect. It is a perfect pattern because it has so much like TV knitting or Netflix knitting, whatever you want to call it. And then you have like fun bit of knitting. So like if you get to the fun bit of knitting, but you still have like a car ride or TV knitting, just cast on another one and start the TV knitting part again.
Right.
So this was the first one I did.
It's lovely.
That one. And this is a full size one. And then this is the second one.
And it's full size as well.
This one's full size as well. The third one, like I said, is over there. And it's so someone in my Facebook group on one of the Work in Progress Wednesday posts mentioned that she was going to do it in mohair, which I thought was genius. I thought that was absolutely genius. So I went stash diving and pulled some out myself. Now, my problem is I didn't have enough to do it entirely in mohair. Like I didn't have enough colors.
Okay.
So I did mohair and wool, like lace weight wool. Yeah. But this gray, so this is the small one, and I haven't blocked it yet, so it pulls in too much. And I modified the pattern. So you can see like it doesn't have the 4 inches of start.
Okay.
I just did 3 rows, cast on 3 rows, and then did the lace thing. And so it's more evenly dispersed.
Yeah.
So this mohair, you hear people talk about mohair and how like we have better mohair now, and like we have better goats. I've heard Stephen West declare, we've got better goats now. This mohair is at least 20 years old. Like I got it from my mother's stash at least 20 years ago. And it is labeled as a lace weight. But it's not, it's much bulkier. Like it knits much thicker. So the lace weight wools, I ended up having to double. And then there's like one of the blue, you know how you have like the 4 rows and then the 2 rows and then the 4 rows. So the 2 rows is also a mohair. Okay. And it's a modern lace weight mohair. And so that one I had to double as well. And it's still finer than any of the other yarns involved, but it was subtle enough that it worked. And then this one I did in the round using the wrap and turn method that we talked about in the last progress video. So go back and watch that to learn about that.
And, and I'm going to mention that a couple times. So maybe what I'll just do is copy and paste that from the previous video description. So people don't have to go back. I'll just copy paste it and put it down below. Right. Yeah.
So it's, it's not perfectly lined up, but once I get it blocked, then it'll work well. And I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. So I love all of these.
A great gift option.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to gift these. Sure. We'll see.
Or not.
I have a problem. I had a stack of shawls and stuff in my office, and I was like, oh, it's time to like go put them away in the closet. And I got up to my closet and I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put these away because my closet is full of knitwear already. So I got a problem.
So I follow this guy on Instagram. He's an Australian and he knits a lot of sweaters. And he set up this like wooden dowel system on his wall where he can just like drape things and put hangers, and he just has a wall display of all his stuff.
I've seen that before. There's a lady who used to do the, what is her name? She passed away, unfortunately. She got cancer. It was like Scottish podcast, Scottish knitting, something like that. And she had just a really fun podcast for years and years. And she would talk about her shawl room. They had a room in her house that was just devoted because she was a shawl knitter. And she would like have friends come over and she'd be like, okay, come pick out a shawl. And they'd be like, what? And she'd be like, really, please take a shawl.
So I was following
a room that she had them like displayed in and,
on Facebook on Meg Swanson and, Schoolhouse Press, Elizabeth Zimmerman was her mother. She just had a post this week. You should go check it out. It's all about this pattern that they kind of resurrected and revised for the newsletter. But they talk about the sweater room.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So like we were just talking about seaming. I'm not a very good seamer, but I'm really happy with how mine turned out. I am super happy with it. It's long.
I find it hard to get a subtle seam on garter stitch. Like I feel like it's always very apparent. Unlike like with stockinette, I feel like I can get an even seam where it's almost hidden.
So what I did, and I'll show the video, but yeah. So what I did was I did along the bottom, I just mattress stitched this right here. And then I did the thing where I kind of mattress stitched like back and forth a little bit. And then I duplicate stitched probably, 7 or 8 stitches and then just wove in the end. And I kind of went on the tails. I went both directions. So yeah, and I'll show that in the video. We'll talk about that next week on Tuesday in the video. I think I'll just have, but so there's and now that I look at this, I'm like, which is the right side and which is the wrong side? Because it doesn't really matter that much.
A little poke up. Don't you have a poke up?
Yeah. But I do have a poke up, but I think I might have done it on the wrong side.
Oh, oops.
But truly,
that's okay, because it all gets twisted around on your neck anyway. So
and I'm like looking at this, I'm like, right side, wrong side. I mean, whatever. Okay. As
you
Lynn,
have to look at your garter, look at the garter side.
As Lynn, though, one of our favorite patrons would say, it's not going to be noticed on a trotting horse passing.
That's right. That's right.
But mine turned out really, really long. When I blocked it, it was super long. It was like 6.5 feet. But like I used, I cast on a lot of stitches, probably more than I needed to after it blocked out, but it's okay.
Well, and merino can be very, very stretchy when wet. So you just have, so I hit the mic. You just have like more room to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks fine. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it because it's not a shawl that I have to fuss that much with.
Yeah. You just put it on. It's on.
Whatever. I'm still fussing.
Yeah. Stop fussing. It's beautiful.
But like yours is like.
Mine's up here. Yeah. Mine's.
Yeah.
So it'll work with I have one of my coats has a pretty high V to it.
Yeah.
So that'll work fine for me.
Let's see. I have the go to town coat and I have the farm coat. It'll go with either one. But mine's long enough, I could actually.
Yeah.
I could. I mean, if I was
extra. Yeah, I was it is definitely spring here. We have our spring showers going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I forgot. I was like wearing a shawl to go somewhere the other day, and we had to go out to the car afterwards, and it was raining. And I was like, oh no. And then like halfway to the car, I was like, I'm wearing a shawl. I can totally pull this up over my head.
So yesterday, we had these big dark clouds come across and the Weather Channel was like, expect snow squalls. So it's where this huge wall of whatever just marches right across the prairie. Yeah. And then and it snows really hard for like 20 minutes and then it's gone and the sun comes out.
Yeah.
However, we had thunder snow.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
We've had that a few times here in Connecticut.
That was dramatic.
It is pretty
And then it was that hard like popcorn snow.
Oh, I hate that snow.
And I was outside when it happened and I was like,
oh no,
starting to suck. And so I'm like, I run back up to the barn because that was the closest building. And then I went in there and just, watched the goats and I waited and I petted the babies and you could hear it on the roof. And I'm like, all right, I think it's done enough now. I'll run back to the house.
Nice.
Thunder snow. Yeah, you don't have that very often.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
So I will put out the seaming video if people want to see how I did it. But again, I'm not the best seamer. So you can take my suggestions or not. I think there's as many ways to seam something as there is different styles of knitting. I mean, so mine is just one and there's lots of options. You could just weave in the ends. You could just take your main color, mattress stitch that whole thing. You could just
Yeah, I know the instructions say to use the individual colors to match as you do it, but I found that you really don't see the yarn you use, at least with mattress stitch. So with this one, like with some of the ones that are just two, I didn't bother switching. I just finished up with the color I was with and then switched. Cause I was like, it's like one mattress stitch and then you got to change again. So I was like, that's not worth it. Yeah. Anyway, I have loved seeing people's pictures and in progress pictures and questions and encouragement and tips. And
it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. And as people finish, head over to the Ravelry group and put your finished photo in there because we're going to draw for prizes on Friday the 1st.
Yes. And then I am leaving the country. So anyone who wins prizes from me, there will be a 2-week delay before it gets in the mail. So just so you know.
Yes. And I did finally do the drawing for the cast on prizes and they will be in the mail as soon as I get something I need to go get envelopes. I need to go get things to mail them in. Because, yeah. And, things have been a little hectic. So really, they're coming. I promise.
Settling down now.
I hope so.
How many more goats need to have babies?
1.
Just 1. Okay, good.
Yeah, but there's a kind of a delay because last fall I had a problem with our breeding buck and he had to go to the vet and it didn't work out well and he actually died.
Oh.
And so then there was kind of a 2-week gap where there wasn't any boy in but I still had 1 goat that wasn't bred. So I borrowed this crazy lunatic buck. His name is Thor. I borrowed him from a neighbor. And he was.
So the next one will be a couple weeks then, is what you're saying?
Maybe, because it could be a Thor baby.
Yeah.
But he didn't stay here very long because he was like a deer, like boing. He would just boing right over the gate. He would run.
Excellent. I'm out of here.
I mean, he was in a little area full of girls, but no, he wants to go pick a fight with the other breeding buck in a whole different. We called him Thor the Naughty, and he went home after about 10 days.
Yeah. You need to go be somewhere else.
Yes, we just have 1 left, but we have 19 babies, and we have 1 left. 1 left. So, and yes, so now I'm milking. And, homemade yogurt's the best. I'm just saying.
Excellent. Are you going to make soap?
Yes.
Excellent.
I made soap years ago and I need to kind of remember how. I have all the stuff, but it's been a while. Yeah. Do you like soap?
I made soap once when we were living in Mesa, Arizona. A friend who knew I was into crafting. I mean, it was crochet was the craft I was in, but a friend of hers was closing up her soap business and gave like all of the odds and ends to my friend, who was then like, I know the perfect person. And she gave it to me. And I was like, okay. So I got on not Instagram. I got on the internet and I did searching, and her stuff, it was like ho butter and like, like all this like really nice stuff in small quantities. Because it was just like what she was, odds and ends she was left with. And then all these essential oils in small quantities. And so it was like, I don't know. It was like the most luxuriant soap because I was like, I'm just going to use this stuff. I'm never going to become like a professional soap maker. So I made 1 batch in maybe like a 2-foot by 1.5 foot bin. And it was about 4 inches high. And put in mix the oils until it was a smell I liked. And then put all of the super fancy oil as the soap based stuff. And it was like the best soap I've ever used in my life. I didn't keep notes and I just used it until it was gone. And we moved to the Philippines not long after. So what random bits were left, I passed on to someone else and I took all the soap with me that I made, and I didn't buy soap for like a year and a half or something
then it was gone and you were sad.
And then it was gone and now I have no idea how to recreate it, but I do it did help me appreciate the difference between soap and handcrafted milk based soap. Yeah,
definitely less drying on you and better overall for your skin. Yes.
Yeah, I loved that soap. That was really nice soap.
So what's next for you? So I am going out of the country.
Yeah, I am coming up on the end of the season for the I Thought I Knew How podcast. I have 2 more episodes that'll come out after this comes out. But between those 2 episodes, I'm going to Iceland with my husband. And we have a couple of interviews lined up while we're there.
Nice.
And then I'll be taking 2 months off from that because I have the Mac and Our Way Through Shetland tours will be going on. So I have to go to Shetland and do that. But also what that means is that sometime in May or early June will be information for the 2023 dates. So if you've been wanting to come to Shetland on a knitting tour, that will be coming up as well. And then I'll be back in June with more podcasts. And end of April, I'll be at the Connecticut Sheep and Wool Festival. I'll be doing something at the Morehouse booth for that. We haven't worked that out yet.
Nice.
But you can come say hi to me there. I'll be around doing fibery things. What's
Cool.
next for you, Jana? What's up for you?
We are considering our next knit along. I'm debating whether I should say or not.
They can wait. Leave them hanging.
Well, it's going to be, okay, I will tell you, it's going to be beginner friendly sweater, and it's going to be a pullover. So it's going to be like, you can knit my first sweater, top down, raglan, easy. Perfect. Right. So more details will be coming out with that shortly. And the pattern is not free, but it's lovely. So watch for that.
It's not a bad thing to pay the designers for their work. There's so much work.
It isn't. And it's totally fine. Free patterns are good. I don't have any problem with that. But I like to support artists, and in the same way that people support us in our channels.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to, I don't mind paying for patterns, especially when they've been tech edited and they're
right. Exactly.
Yeah. And this particular pattern has several hundred projects already, and it's a pretty well known. Yeah. So anyway, so if you want to learn how to knit your first sweater, top down, raglan, easy.
Perfect.
But the pattern has lots of opportunities to make it different.
Oh, good.
So
I like that. That makes knit-alongs more fun to see people's creativity come out. I love that.
Definitely. Also, watch my Instagram, because I forgot. I should have gone over and got across the driveway and got my mom's Hap Cowl, because she finished hers too, except now we're not sure where it is. I mean, I think it's in a box, but I'll post it on my Instagram when we run across it, because hers turned out really well also.
Awesome.
And she did the traditional, because I had some Jamesons that I sent over. So she did the traditional wool also.
Excellent. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that.
When we find it.
Unpacking is always an adventure.
So in April, we're going to have some podcasts, and then this new knit along will begin in May, I think. I'll be knitting ahead because I have a trip as well in May. So I'll have to do some videoing ahead of time, which is fine. Yeah. I'm excited to watch your Instagram for Iceland. I want to go to Iceland one day.
It's going to be, it's still going to be cold. Their winter definitely lasts longer. So, but we're hoping, I was supposed to go originally in June this year, and it didn't work out. So we're going earlier than we planned, but we're hoping we'll have some clear nights and we'll get to see some of the northern lights. So
that'd be really neat. Yeah. Super cool. All right. Well, as always, it's been super fun to do this with you.
Yeah, it's been great. This is fun. Thank you for thinking of me. Thanks for inviting me along on this. It's been fun. I'm always happy to knit with you.
Yay. Well, we'll watch your Instagram and watch your podcast and keep up with you. Until next time.
Great. Thanks.
Okay. See ya. Bye. Bye.